The USHJA Lifetime Achievement Award was created in 2008 to honor members whose lifelong involvement in the sport and the USHJA itself has benefited the industry. Recipients of this award have dedicated their lives to furthering the disciplines of hunters and jumpers on a national platform. Award recipients will have their name engraved on the Eugene Mish Perpetual Trophy. Gene was a 2001 inductee into the Show Jumping Hall of Fame and was instrumental in the growth of the industry. Also receiving the USHJA Lifetime Achievement Award this year is Carleton Brooks. Carleton's record speaks for itself. He's a horseman's horseman, a top trainer, a sought-after clinician. He's been the leading rider at the National Horse Show. He's the trainer of numerous national champions. He's a 5-time winner of the PCHA Lorraine Lorimer Award for the most champions. Been the leading handler at the Sally B. Wheeler Hunter Breeding Championships 5 times. He was inducted into the National Show Hunter Hall of Fame in 2019. He's been a Big R hunter judge since 1985. He's judged Devon, the National Horse Show, Harrisburg, Derby Finals, Hunter Finals, Junior Hunter Finals, etc. He serves on many USEF, USHJA, and PCHA boards and committees. Carlton's the real deal. Here's a video. Let's have a look.
Carlton is the epitome of a consummate horseman, a rider, a trainer, a teacher, and a judge of the highest caliber.
The one reason I'm always interested in what we're doing and get ready to go the next day and can't wait and stare at the ceiling all evening long is because something's always new. Something can be done better, more intricately, and rewarding for the horse. I grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I started riding horses because we moved out to the country to a 120-acre farm, and my brother and sister took off through the cornfields to the local riding stable. And I was home alone playing with my wagon, and I got bored, so I tagged along.
We were fortunate. Our parents had a facility, literally in our backyard, where we could keep the horses and rode in the general vicinity, and would either ride them to lessons or prelude them to lessons.
I remember my first horse. It was a school horse that was had done his career and was going to probably go to auction, and we got it and we paid $25 for it. We had no water buckets, no turnout paddocks. We put him in a cow lane at the farm. And I remember the first day I went to the tack shop and smelled that leather and got a brand new saddle.
Carlton, at that early age of life, he always had his eye out how to find a nicer animal, and he progressed on then to a jumper that was half thoroughbred and half quarter horse. And then he progressed on to a horse called Dark Shadows, which was a well-known jumper in the area. These horse shows we went to would be considered very backyard horse shows. So a vertical mine gets set up at 4.6 or 4.9 or whatever with one rail. If Carlton hadn't brought his A+ game cantering down to that vertical, that horse would duck under it, and Carlton would catch it in his chest. And it definitely taught him, you've got to ride all the way over the fence. You can't assume anything.
The part about horses that got me hooked was that I could communicate with them. I didn't have any friends when we moved to the country, so I spent all my time with the horse in our barn, sweeping the aisle, mucking the stall, currying the horses, and I just created a bond with them, and I think they've always, besides my immediate family, been my best friends.
He really studies the horse. He studies the horse in the barn. He knows their likes, their dislikes, the minutest details of their behavior, and he uses that in his training, and he knows about their physical attributes, and most importantly, he knows about their mental state that makes each one of them unique.
My first trainer was Joe Racine. I hung out every day, became a barn rat, bothered him to death, and I loved every minute of it, stayed at the barn all day long. My first time I showed, I had white jeans on, cowboy boots. We didn't have any breeches. We didn't own any breeches. And I won the equitation flat class, and everyone made fun of me because I didn't have the proper attire. Then I jumped twice around, 4 cross rails, 2 on each side, with pylons for a start and a finish, and I fell off right after the pylons. That was my start to my career. I showed as a junior on and off locally in Indiana, the leaky roof circuit. I knew about a medal class and junior hunters. I didn't really know what I was doing. Then I learned you had to qualify. So I was notorious for getting second in the class, never qualifying for the medal. Actually, the first year I never did qualify. I got 13 seconds. The next year I qualified first class. So after that, I decided I wanted to go east, where the big time was at that time. I went to the Carolinas. I rode with Russ Walter. We drove up and down the coast. I was notorious for chipping in at least 1 jump every class.
My dad and mom gave him a brand new pickup since he wasn't going to college. We loaded up the day after he graduated from high school. He headed to Southern California, I believe Costa de Casa, and went to work out there, and he's been in California the rest of his life.
I thought I could go out there where California at that time was a little behind and catch up and be a bigger fish in a smaller pond at the time. To learn, and other things I did was I watched a lot of professionals. I watched how Rodney Jenkins could balance a horse on the way to the jump, uphill, downhill. At one time in my career, I received 30 periodicals a month, and I read them cover to cover. I read all the old horse books, the old veterinary manual from Merrick, all those things, and I've read a lot of business books. And you have to apply it all. Now I read a lot of books about how people think and act. The challenges of understanding horses and becoming successful started with knowing them from the ground up.
Well, Carlton has a curious personality, so he would see what needed to be fixed with the horse or rider and try to come up with something that would do it. He's very knowledgeable, and he wants to, Carlton believes the same thing that I do. It's what you learn after you know it all that counts.
Through my riding and now training, I always had to figure out how to get through to the horse, and if I realized that if I started at the bottom and worked up, you'd get the whole complete horse. So now I call it from the nail heads of the shoes up to where we are.
Liza will be at the horse show wherever she sees Carlton, and she'll say, "Carlton, I got a horse that does this, does that. What do you think?" And he'll come right over and tell you and help you. Just like the older people used to do with us, he does the same thing. We learn from the best of the best who were older and knew what they were doing, but they were more than glad to tell us. Maybe nowadays it doesn't happen as much, but Carlton will still do that.
What separates Carlton from many of the other very talented horsemen that we see today is his enormous passion, his love, and his total dedication to the horse. He's also dedicated to competition at the highest level and to our amazing sport.
It's hard to be a rider, a trainer, and a coach. A lot of people are good people trainers and not good horse trainers. A lot of people are good horse trainers and can't talk to people. Carlton can do all of that. He can train people, he can teach people, he can teach the horses, and then being a coach is even a different thing. You got to know when to have a little ironed hand, you got to know when to feed them a little sugar. Carlton knows the right time to do all of it.
So lately, in the last few years, I've started to give a lot more clinics at all levels, and I love it. Those people are so hungry, and you can give back to them, and they all can get something out of it. They're at a clinic to learn something, for sure, that day, and it pays off. You can feel it in them, and when you can feel it in the people you're helping, you of course get more enthused and give more back. I started my judging career and became a large R judge in 1985. I've been fortunate to judge Devon, Harrisburg, Washington, and the National, and the Royal Winter Fair. and the Derby finals 5 times.
There's not hundreds of good judges out there. There's a few good judges out there, and Carlton's one of them. So he's sitting on the side, I'll be at the end gate. If I think a horse goes well, and for some reason doesn't get a great score, and Carlton's judging, I say, I just missed it. I didn't see what he did, Carlton saw what he did. So that means that all the good professionals respect his opinion. It's just easy with Carlton because you know he likes a good jumper. If your horse goes well, then you know you're going to do well. If it doesn't go well, then you miss something.
Judging has helped me as a rider and producer of horses because now you understand these visual of what they are seeing, how it really appears, and it makes you so you do a lot more things more in advance. The attention to detail becomes greater. I'd like for the people in this sport to realize there's possibilities to achieve whatever you want. When I started out on that farm in Indiana, I had no clue what I was doing and I had no talent. By sheer determination, hard work, and a lot of hours, I've ended up where I am today.
His major contributions to the sport would be his work ethic, the way he treated horses, and his love for horses. That's a big deal right there to me. He's very lucky to have the lovely wife that he got. That's probably the best thing he ever did, Carlton.
I think one of the greatest things about this Lifetime Achievement Award is I'd like to thank everyone that helped me get here. A long overdue thank you. I would like to thank my wife, Tracy, and David Vega, and Edward Vega, and his family. I didn't get here by myself. I got here by all the old-time horsemen, to great clientele, my competitors, and most of all, and for always, the horses.
Carlton, congratulations on an amazing and brilliant career that you've had and still have. You've done it at the very highest level, and as a person who has shared your vast knowledge with so many others. You've done it with class. Well done, sir. And by the way, keep up that curiosity. I know you will.
I'd like to be an advocate for doing things the right way, not the easy or fast way. I'd like to be an advocate for attention to detail. I'd like to be remembered for giving back and realizing you have to fail to succeed.
I'm honored for him and extremely proud of him. I know that he cannot express in words what it means to have his peers honor him this way. It sort of exemplifies what he has tried to do for the industry and the horse world. Carlton is proud of his humble beginnings. And I think he wants part of his legacy to be to remind people you can come from humble beginnings and still be a success. Horsemanship is part of that, and your effort and dedication to the betterment of the horse and the betterment of the industry is part of Carlton's legacy.